Hello everybody and welcome back to Career Mode. Today is our first episode of season number 4 and we will be embarking on a new journey. We'll be leaving the Graafschap behind and joining one of the two sides that were on offer for you guys to vote upon in the video that we did put out to cast your vote on what you wanted to see next. And one of the comments that I got in the last episode of that season was to put a release clause onto Patrick, because we said, after he had that unbelievable performance in the Champions League final, that wherever we go, by law now, we should take him with us. So I actually didn't think about this, and it was what you guys said, so thank you for that, is to essentially just put a release clause on him, so we're not priced out of a move. But to be fair to, obviously, the Graafschap, I actually put a release clause of his current valuation, so that way they were still getting money for him. And to be fair, looking back at it, I don't think they would have actually priced me out of a move. I think we would have got him for pretty much a similar amount as the release clause was. I set it to £12 million, so that is the fee that we would have to pay to take him over to the club that you guys had voted for, which is Villarreal in La Liga. 7th place Villarreal as well, may I add, so bit more challenging than that of Hoffenheim, that was the other team on offer. They have Champions League football, remember, Villarreal with Europa League football, provided we can get through a qualifier to get there. So a lot more to kind of do with this side, a lot of a rebuild to kind of go through, and that is exactly what you are going to see today. There's a lot of stuff to cover, so you're going to have to bear with me. I will try and get through it all and make sure I don't miss anything out. But the first port of call then, after joining our new squad, was to make that signing of Patrick, of course. But something to take note of was that although he joined a new season in the Netherlands, for whatever reason, we still had to see the back end of this season out in La Liga. So we actually do have to go through another process of entering a new season as it was. And at this point, the transfer window, of course, isn't actually open. So Patrick will not join the club until that does, in fact, be the case. So as you can see, negotiating a contract with him, 6,700 his current wage. That was what we renegotiated in the Netherlands with him. But he came over, £16,000 a week, 5-star week. But I mean, I don't need to introduce him. You guys know him. You've seen him. You know the quality that he brings. So Patrick is our first signing of our new reign here with Villarreal. And that is something that I am so happy to be able to say. So 13 or 12 million pounds paid for him. Like I said, it was £500,000 more than his valuation in the current market. And to be fair, we'd actually rejected less offers when we were actually at the Graafschap. So I think it's an alright deal. I think we get the better of the deal for that one. I think it would have probably only been 15, 16 million if we were to try and sign him. But there you go. So that was the only player, though, that I did put a release clause on. Everybody else remained the same. Nobody else has a release clause. And the only reason I did that is because everybody wants me to take Patrick with him. And so do I, in fact. So I felt that was like the easiest way of doing it. But as soon as I did that, I went through and I took a look at the full list of Villarreal players that we have. And I transfer listed anybody I didn't feel fit the bill of this club and I didn't feel was going to take us forward. So pretty much 80% of the current side were transfer listed, which is kind of crazy because I think if you're looking at a rebuild, what you're looking at is you're trying to make it your own side. And of course, the only real time this has ever, I guess, remotely come close to happening was a few years ago. AC Milan, of course, purchased like 10 new first 11, Obviously, Donnarumma, I think, was the only player to really keep his spot. So I was kind of looking at that for inspiration, thinking, what should I do? What am I going to do in terms of bringing in new players? Who am I going to let go? And like I said, 80% of that squad is players that I don't feel are going to be good enough to take me forward and help this side try and win a La Liga title. So yeah, that's pretty much part and parcel of it. I mean, the ones that are going to stay, Toko can be one of them. Gerard Moreno, I plan on keeping. Asenio as number 1 goalkeeper. Issa Diop at centre-back is probably going to stay as well. The midfielders, Baselli and Zakaria, both going to stay. So I've got that kind of base to build it on. And then from there on, I can just bring in what I want to bring in, who I want to bring in, and hopefully go as far as we possibly can. But there was one other signing I had to show you, and that was, actually a few minutes ago in this video, actually. An 85 rated centre-back from the free agents. I've got absolutely no idea where he's come from. I have checked the free agents on regular occasions, and I've not actually seen him in here before. But he's come in, a Brazilian 6-foot, 85 rated centre-back. I don't know where he even played. I don't know where he's come from. But the fact of the matter is, for a free agent, he's worth like 30 million quid. We've got him in immediately, and already it's an upgrade. And then I took another look through the free agents, found a few other players that I like the look of. These guys here, I delegated to my assistant to let them do. We didn't get all of them. The centre-back that I'm doing right here, Lucas Anibal Diaz, actually doesn't join. He goes somewhere else. I can't quite remember where that was, though. And we couldn't negotiate a contract with him. But Bardini Pinera, not the same one we had at the Graafschap, does come in, and so does the fullback. But we already got one, Frandira Alvarez, 4-star weak foot, 21-year-old, 70 rated right back. He's just going to basically be a squad depth player should we need him to. So I don't mind doing that, and I don't think he's going to be a massive player for us because I do plan on bringing in new fullbacks. Of those, I'm not entirely sure who that was going to be. You'll see it in the episode who it does end up being. But at the time, I had no real plans of who I wanted to bring in. The only player I definitely knew was Patrick. So we did that one off the bat. I was thinking the group possibly to come into this new team. He could be one of the ones we go for. You'll see who I do, in fact, end up deciding on at a later stage. We're getting off here for Gerhardt. I won't be showing you every single transfer offer because there's going to be loads to go through. So I will show you them in a full list breakdown later on in the video so you can see who has left and who is staying and all that stuff. But anybody who's like a major one, like 20 million plus, I will be trying to show you the transfer offers of. So the first one there, Gerhardt, we negotiated it, 20 million quid, and he does in fact leave the club. And then as you can see, these are the players that were able to agree contracts with. And those two, the young sort of fullbacks, weren't actually the same rating as Alvarez. So they actually probably won't play. Fernandez and Bardini Pinera, both not as good, but squad depth-wise, not terrible. They'll probably play a part in the early stages, maybe of the Europa League, maybe of the Copa de España, the Copa del Rey. But other than that, I can't really see them getting too much game time. And there was one player here, Gerard Moreno. I said I was going to keep hold of him. We needed a goal scorer. I knew that. But I looked at his age and I looked at his stats. He's 83 rated. He's 29. And I actually thought to myself, if we get about 40 million for him, I wouldn't really say that that's a bad deal. I think we'd do pretty well to get that. And he actually has a release clause set, which I didn't know at the time when I actually negotiated that with Napoli. So we'll see what happens in his future. I'm as open to letting him go as I am to keeping him, to be honest. So I'm not really bothered either way, and I don't feel like either way will shoot us in the foot. If we get 40 million quid for him, that's a good deal. If he stays, we've got a goal scorer. That's the way I'm looking at this. So our first major monetary value signing, other than Patrick then, was a fullback. It was Firpo from Real Betis. He had a release clause. I went ahead and activated that, and we did negotiate his contract, £50,000 a week. I'm not going to pretend like I know who he is. It's the first time I've ever used him in a FIFA, so hopefully he comes good. He's 84 rated left wing back by trade. Of course, going to play left back for us. And then I decided, okay, I've got Patrick. Let's go get Daniel de Groot, and that's exactly what I did. £13 million for Daniel de Groot. He comes in. He will wear the number 7 shirt this season for Villarreal, and Patrick will wear the number 8 shirt. So very, very high-profile players at this new team, even if they're not necessarily the most high-rated. We know all about them, though, of course, from our time in the Netherlands. And then after that, we got an offer for Brais Mendes. So another player that I was open to keeping, but I felt like with the addition of Daniel de Groot, with Iwobi being here, maybe Mendes' time would be a little bit limited. So I thought, let's see what Lyon are prepared to pay. We eventually negotiate a £26.5 million deal, and he does, in fact, leave the club for that. So another major out leaving us. Ruiz, 31, don't really think he was going to play, so I let him go. And this is the point now where I thought to myself, all right, that's good business. Gerard Moreno, we'd already negotiated with Napoli and Tottenham, and both those clubs weren't willing to pay £40 million. But out of nowhere, Bournemouth popped up and they activated the £41 million release clause that was in Gerard Moreno's contract. I said to myself when I came here, I will not be renegotiating contracts. Any players with any release clauses in, I'm just going to let them play out, see what happens. Because at the end of the day, the chances are, if they've got a release clause, it's probably going to be more than they're worth. And if a team wants to take them, unless it's somebody that I really want to keep hold of, and I don't really think there was too many players in this side that fit that bill, I don't really mind letting them go. So Gerard Moreno for 41 mil to Bournemouth, I think, is better business for us than it is for them. He's 29, he's aging, he didn't actually score that many goals last season. He hit double figures, but I think it was about 12 goals. So for 40 million quid, I just thought, heck yeah, let's let him leave the club. So that's exactly what's going to happen, hopefully, if he does negotiate terms with Bournemouth. For us, though, 2 more quick signings coming your way. I said there was a lot to go through today. That was Ruben Blanco coming in from Celta as a backup goalkeeper. Obviously, Spanish as well, so he fits the bill of La Liga, knows about all the league and that kind of thing. I think he will be my Europa League goalkeeper and the Copa del Rey goalkeeper. And, of course, Asenio will be the number 1 for the league. And then, on top of that, we got a new right back, and I had to do it. It was Noah Beister. Originally, I looked at Hugo Mayo for right back and was going to bring him in because he was brilliant in my Celta Vigo save we did last year. But he'd gone to Arsenal very, very recently, so I couldn't make that happen. So Noah Beister was the player I went for. We know he's got quality, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get to an 80 rated stage. But with the outgoing of Gerard Moreno, I needed a new striker. At this point, we had about £75 million to spend, and the 2 players that I shortlisted were Memphis Depay and Luka Jovic. Surprisingly, the last time I used Luka Jovic in a FIFA career mode was back in FIFA 17 on my Road to Glory career mode. I've not used him since then. Of course, in real life, he's just recently joined Real Madrid for a big fee, and he had a release clause playing for AS Monaco that was around about his current valuation. In fact, I think I had a bit more than 75 million. I went in originally for Memphis Depay, and I offered £70 million for Memphis. They came back and wanted something like 88 or 90 million. And I didn't want to pay that, especially when Luka Jovic had a release clause of 63 or 64 million in his contract. I went ahead, activated that, negotiated the contract, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but Luka Jovic is Villarreal's new number 9. Madness. I'm going to show you the news article right now. There it is. I mean, he's wearing number 13 in this. Don't worry, he is our number 9. I do change that. I realised he was wearing number 13. I was like, nah, I'm not giving him that. And 65 million it was, actually, which I think, 23 years of age, 87 rated, 5-star weak foot, unbelievable striker. What a bargain when you consider we've sold Moreno for 25 million less. 4 ratings higher, 6 years younger, and he's only cost us 25 mil more than we got from Moreno. I think that is massive, massive, massive business. We have done so well in this transfer window so far. To follow on from that, Diakabi came in from Valencia as a backup centre-back, and it was just all going off. Honestly, this was like an hour and a half of me just sat, going through offers, bringing in new players, selling current players I didn't want. Alex Iwobi, release clause in his contract as well. Burnley activated it, 44 million quid. I was sat here going, oh my goodness me, when's it going to end? People just leaving, people just joining. Iwobi sold to Burnley. So again, more money into the kitty that I now have to go out and find a replacement winger. I decided very quickly who that was going to be. Celta Vigo. He was a machine for me in that save. Pion Sisto, playing at Arsenal, 83 rated. We paid £32 million for his signature. 12 million less than Alex Iwobi. Again, I think fantastic business. I think we've done a very, very good job in this transfer window. Luka Jovic as well is one of those players that I think is going to carry us to that next level. Now, the thing is, he has been playing at Monaco, and I don't think Monaco have won their league either. I think PSG won it, and Lyon might have been up there for a time as well. So, Luka Jovic is hungry for a bit of success. Unfortunately, like I said, if we do manage to get through in that qualifier, it will only be Europa League football this year. But my focus right now is to win that Europa League title. I'm not really too bothered about where we finish in La Liga. I'm going to take those games as they come. I just really want that Europa League, because that, A, gets us in the Champions League, and B, is a trophy to add to the collection that we didn't manage to get with the Graafschap, of course. So that is going to be the aim for this first season. I think the side we're building is looking decent. Here is how it looked heading into our first game then. 4-4-1-1 was the formation we're going to go with. Jovic up front, Patrick in behind him, Sisto out on the left, Baselli and Zakaria in the midfield 2 with the Groot on the right. Beister at right back. Defensive 2 is Issa Diop. And that Brazilian 85 rated centre-back whose name I can't quite remember. There he is. I'm not even going to try it because I'm probably going to butcher it. And Firpo at left-back with, of course, Asenio in goal. So that starting 11 for me is quality. And I think if we get in the swing of things this season, top 4 finish, Europa League title, they're the 2 aims that I'm going to go for in this first year. However, I mean, I came into this game against Celta. I'm not going to lie, I was very excited to get started. I wanted to play my first game, and I'm a little bit frustrated is the word I'm going to use here by the way we conceded our first goal. All this excitement I'd built up to then go into this game and concede this, I was like, what? How is that them doing it to us? I was expecting it the other way around. And the other thing that frustrated me was I think it was our young Brazilian centre-back who actually made the mistake in giving Mata the opportunity. I mean, you can't take anything away from Mata, though, because it was an unbelievable strike in order to give Getafe the lead. But then 20 minutes in, not too long later, Patrick swings in the corner. Issa Diop gets up really well. Keeper saves it, and there was, I'm going to try his name for the first time, Pagnasat, who ends up heading it across the line to make it 1-1, atoning for the error he made for Mata's opening goal for Getafe. But there you go, he's on the score sheet. We put it back level not too long after we actually went 1-0 down. And we had a home game as well, so home fans were clearly very excited to see their side get underway, this new look Villarreal side that we have built. And Luka Jovic had chances galore in this game, but for whatever reason, just could not find the mark. I mean, in the first half, we definitely put the pressure on. Here he is again, Luka Jovic, narrowly wide of that bottom corner. But I'm sure it's just a little bit of maybe growing pains, I guess you could say. Because, you know, it's first game. We're not expecting him to hit the height straight away. There are times in this game where players have to try and find their feet. And I'm just glad that we were able to find that equaliser, because it would have been a much different day if we'd have lost this one. But I still felt disappointed because we only got a 1-1 draw in our opening game of La Liga. Maybe it's not going to be an easy season as I kind of think to myself. But the fans weren't happy. And you'll see in a moment why I wasn't. Match facts, they had one shot. Mata smashed it in the bottom corner to give him the lead. So there was really only one team in this on the day. And we just could not find a second goal to go in front. So a draw in our opening game as Villarreal boss. Hopefully that's not a sign of things to come. This side that we've built, I expect big things from, and that is something that we're going to have big expectations. But for now, we're going to jump over to live for our next game. What an absolutely hectic start to life with Villarreal. We've got rid of all the players that I didn't want at the club. We've brought in players that I did want to bring in. There was a couple of other sales as well that I wasn't planning on. They just happened, and a couple of incomings as well that definitely weren't planned and happened. So I'm going to take you through them and talk a little bit quickly about maybe some surprise ones. So we'll start at the beginning then. And as you can see, oops, that's the whole list. There we go. We brought in these guys on a free. We knew about these three. I'm pretty sure we got to around about here last time I was able to show you this. So Semedo went, Gerhardt went, Moralanes went, Alvaro went, and our first incoming that was actually planned, of course, alongside the two that joined us in Patrick and the one that they'd already agreed. I can't remember who that was. Was it Samata, I think, was the guy that the club had already agreed to bring in on a pre-contract. So the group is our second signing, because unfortunately Patrick doesn't show up on this list because we actually agreed it before the end of the season. So Patrick was our first, but Daniel de Groot became our second. Obviously, knew all about him from our time with the Graafschap, and I wanted him back just because he was one of those players. I didn't actually pay as much money as I thought it was going to. The whole reason of me putting a release clause on Patrick was because I thought we were going to have to pay like 25 mil, but I didn't do it for De Groot, and they only wanted 14.5, so I was quite happy with that. Then we paid a release clause for Firpo, a new left wing back by trade as well. Looks very, very good at 84 rated. Very happy with him. I wasn't even planning on getting him. I just found him on a release clause and thought, hell yeah, I'm bringing him in. And then more outgoings, as you can see as we scroll down the list until we get to Mendes. A big outgoing then, 26.5 million to Leon. Originally was going to keep hold of him, but when the offer came in, I thought to myself, you know what? He's actually not even going to start, so maybe I should look to let go, and that's exactly what we did, especially with the incoming of De Groot. I thought that was the best idea. I needed a new right back. I looked about. I was originally going to bring in Hugo Mayo, you know, the guy that used to play for Celta. He was at Arsenal in this save at the moment. He's 30 years of age. It would have been experience, and he was sensational for me in my Celta save, but I ended up going back in for Noah Beister. He was quality at the Graafschap. Is he going to be good enough to play in La Liga week in, week out and continue his development? A Champions League winner as well, remember that, because of course we won it last year. So yeah, he's in. Ruben Blanco joins as a backup goalie, £12 million, not too worried about that. He will play all the Europa League games and the Cup games here, with Asenio getting the nod in the league. Funes Mori went to Nice, Pedraza went to Schalke, Fernandez leaving the club. Moreno, this is one of the sales that I wasn't planning. He had a release clause in his contract, and I decided to myself, at the beginning of the year, I didn't actually check any players who had release clauses. I told myself, I'm going to leave it as it is. If a player has a release clause, I'm going to let that release clause stand. And if a club goes in for them, then so be it. I felt that was the best way of doing it. You know, it just makes it more authentic, I guess, in a certain sense. And I actually didn't realize Moreno had one. So originally, I had offers coming in from Spurs for Moreno. There was an offer as well from, I think, where was the other one offer? I can't remember off the top of my head. But they were like 26 million. So I counted both of those and asked for 40. And in the end, I then realized as I was countering them that he did have a release clause of 41. I thought to myself, nobody's going to pay that. So my plan was to have him as our number 9 this year, but he's gone. Bournemouth paid the release clause of 41 million. And I think that is incredible business. For a 29-year-old, 83 rated striker who was only worth 23 million, that is incredible. We got nearly 20 million pounds more for him. So I think that's fantastic business. Then we had the big one. Luka Jovic came into the club. 65 million pound release clause from, I think it was Monaco. I was not planning on getting Luka Jovic. Let me just say that. As soon as Moreno went, I was looking for a striker. I then got to my last two, which was between him and Memphis Depay. Depay did not have a release clause. Depay was one rated higher, but he was also around about 20 million pounds more as I went in for Memphis Depay. And he would have cost us around about 83 million pounds. So I thought, you know what, for the age factor, and just because in real life he has joined Real Madrid, if you didn't know, we've gone with Luka Jovic. So I think that's going to be an absolutely brilliant signing. We'll see how he gets on in the team. And as you can see, more outgoings as we scroll down the list. I'm pretty sure there's a couple more incomings to come. Yep, Diakabi's joined from Villarreal, from Valencia for 18.4 million pounds. A backup centre-back and playing central defensive midfield as well if you want to use him there. A very good option to have as well. And of course, the next strange one that I wasn't planning, Iwobi, another release clause. But again, 44 million pounds to Burnley when he's only worth 27, I think is good business because I managed to get myself somebody that I adored in the sell to save as well. So I was quite happy letting him go because it meant that we got Jordan in. He's joined. A release clause again, 18 million pounds. Release clauses, man, are so good. I love them so much. You get some absolute bargains in release clauses. Leonardo Suarez went to Marseille, not part of my plans, but this, my friends, is the man I was talking about. He was unbelievable in my sell to save. Pion Sisto went and had that crazy year where he averaged nearly a goal a game in the league. I think he scored 32 in 38 or something crazy like that from the wing as well. It was unbelievable. So I saw him. He was playing at Arsenal. I thought, if we let Iwobi go to Burnley, my replacement will be Pion Sisto. And that's exactly what we've done. 12 million pounds less than what we got in for Alex Iwobi, but it's Pion Sisto. I had to do it. Since my days of playing in Celta and having that series, he was unbelievable in that. I wanted him back. I wanted to see how he was going to perform for us at Villarreal. And of course, a couple more outgoings. Tose's left the club and so has Guerrera. And that, my friends, brings you up to date then with all of the incomings and outgoings at the moment. We still have 26 million pounds left though if we want to use it. As you can see, profits right now are sky high, 144 million pounds, which most of that actually has come through transfers. You can see 259 million pounds in total from transfers over 361 million earnings. Merchandise is pretty decent. That's like shirt sales, season tickets. Season tickets is only individual one. So pretty much shirt sales then, 88 million pounds. But expenses then, if you look at that, we've brought in 259 million pounds from transfers and only actually spent just short of 200 million, which I think has been phenomenal business. And when you consider that we've made profit, but I think we've now got a stronger team, that's incredible. So I don't know whether or not I should be like as buzzing as I actually am, but I'm thrilled with this, how it's gone. And hopefully the rebuild will bring us back the glory days. I realised I have been talking for quite some time now, but that's because I had to get through everything and make sure that everything was shown to you because I didn't want to leave things out. At the minute, we've also got some scouts going around the world looking for our next big talent in the youth academy, so we're going to see what they bring back in just a few moments' time, which will be good to see because obviously it gives us some new, fresh talent coming through. But you got any other suggestions for signings you want to see? 26 million pounds still in the transfer kitty. We could still make some things happen. But we're going to play our final game of today's episode then, and that is going to be against Gdansk in Poland, I believe. I believe they are a Polish side. So it's in our qualification round of the Europa League, and my plan for this season, my friends, is I want to win that Europa League. I'm going to put the emphasis on trying to win this, and then as well trying to get as high a finish in the league as possible. You may have seen our first... Oh, that's a really cool kit. I didn't even know they had a pink, purpley type away kit. But... you may have seen, I forgot to change the minutes again, that we ended up drawing against Getafe in our first game of the season. So that didn't go to plan. I didn't think we were going to have too much of an issue there. And their goal was an absolute monster of a strike. But the thing is, a 1-1 draw was disappointing because I thought we should have won that game. But it is what it is. Hopefully our league performances will still be good. And the emphasis, like I said, is going to be on the Europa League. We want to win it in our first season. You get in the Champions League by winning it. I believe we can do it. Patrick is captain in the side. So strange to see that in another kit that's not the Graafschap. But there you go. That's how it is. So I'm hoping to pretty much get the job done here tonight. Not having to have the second leg back at our place. I think the boys can get this done. And we will pretty much have it done after this first game here. I'm not going to lie. I won't recognise any of the players playing for this Gdansk side, so I'm not even going to try and pretend that I do. But I will say they're going to prove a test here. I don't think it's going to be just a simple game for us. I could be wrong, but they're also playing for their future in this competition. So, yeah, I'm right up for this, and I believe we'll get this job done tonight. I mean, we're already in behind. Samatta to finish. Samatta to finish! There you go, 5 minutes in. Breakthrough already complete. And it was what? 3 passes? I actually have to say, right, Gdansk went up the left-hand side and tried to put a cross in, which we easily dealt with. And the next thing you know, 3 passes later, we're in behind, and Samatta's just finished it. To be fair, right, they are getting crosses into our box. So I'm not going to lie, there is a bit of defending for us to do, and it could have easily been 1-1. There you go. Easy as that. I did say they will pose a threat. And they are getting crosses into our box from our wide areas. Our fullbacks tonight not really getting into this after 11 minutes. To be fair, we have got Noah Beister on one wing and the young Brazilian, which we picked up from the free agents on the other. What a ball over! How has he saved that? Samatta on the follow-up, and it's not worked. But what a save from the keeper. Oh, man, that should have been 2. I do have to give Gdansk credit because they are right up for this, and there is an equaliser. To say that I expected to have this all our way, that was quite a sensational move, actually. They really did open us up well. And I have to give them credit, they've been in this game. Like, this isn't average footballing play, that's quality. Jeez, just got handed something to me there. I look silly now, but honestly, I expected to walk this game. I'm not even being funny, but we have had chances to really take it. And to be fair to them, they've not really sat back. I mean, defensively, I am finding it fairly simple to craft the chances. Just got to take them when they do arrive. But they are crafting themselves, so we need to be careful of that. Because if I allow them to keep doing what they're doing, they will score again. Trigueros, Patrick, ball under control, can hit them! There you go. That is why we brought him to the club. And that is why he is our captain. Captain, fantastic. We've seen it how many times? We don't need to give him words. We don't need to compliment him. We've seen it how many times in the Netherlands with the Graafschap. Did it in the Champions League on the regular. Now, playing Europa League football. There you go. You give him that time. You give him the space. 99 long shots. This is what he does to you. Patrick, I know I can rely on you, mate. I ain't got to worry at all when you're in that position. I know it's going one place, and that's the back of the net. Patrick, Chukwueze, lovely play. Is there an end product on this, though? Delivers the cross. It's there to be won, and Pion Sisto will do that. And in the process, Chukwueze has actually pulled up, it seems like. So that's a bit of a disappointment, getting an injury to him, but hopefully he'll be all right. That's made me feel a little bit better about things, because up until this point, it was only 2-1, and the job seriously was not done here. But I think now with that goal going in, obviously it's the 3rd goal in the night for us, 2-goal advantage. I think we'll be okay. Pion Sisto off the bench to score. Very good header as well, wasn't it, from him? I mean, that's quality, and he did that for me regularly in my set of saves. So I'm looking forward to seeing if he can continue it, but there is time for a change then, and it is going to unfortunately have to be Chukwueze, as he's going to have to come off, and Daniel de Groot will come on in his place. Hopefully it won't be a long-term injury. De Groot is going to switch that, and what a ball it is from him. Sisto controls it. Still got it somehow, and he's found the pass through as well. It comes through to Daniel de Groot, who's away from his man. De Groot! Oh, he looked for the pass, and he should have maybe had a go himself. I got caught in 2 minds. I was thinking I should shoot, but then the angle didn't really favour it, so I thought let's just get the simple goal. Samata, Patrick might be in. Defender's got there, but it's there for Sisto. Is he onside still? Pion Sisto finishes. And the offside flag stays down. It's 4-1 Villarreal, and that should do it then. A bit fortunate, and I do think it would be very close to watch this back to see if Sisto is offside or not. I mean, he makes no mistake with the finish, does he? There is the ball into Patrick that I actually meant, and there is the pass through. There's only one player, actually, from Gdansk who really appeals. Everybody else kind of just stands there. Pion Sisto finishes it. 2 on the night now for him. And I'm beginning to see the Pion Sisto that we had at Celta. Lovely win back from Baselli. Now Patrick trying to turn on it. Unable to do it, but there will be the full-time whistle then. And it's a 4-1 victory in Poland for us. And I think that is going to do it. I think we've got the job done after that. So I might sim the second leg. I'm not yet decided. But I want to say as well, it was a very, very professional performance from us. And remember, we had no Luka Jovic in that side. There was quite a few big-name players that didn't play. Just shows you the quality we've got. I mean, Noah Beister, I want to say this. He was brilliant for us at the Graafschap. And he's so calm when it comes to defending and on the ball. I don't think it's going to be long before we see him in the national team setup of Germany. And actually, did that just go through one of the Gdansk legs there from Toko Ekambi? It did. Oh, he got megged on the way for us scoring the first goal. I mean, and then Samata just finished it off with calmness, doesn't he? But didn't know he actually went for his legs. There we go then. Fantastic performance. 9.5 for Samata. Brilliant. And Chukwueze's injury is 3 weeks. So it's not massively long term, but it is fairly long. For up next though, for us though, it's going to be Real Betis. But this, my friends, is going to be where we end off today's episode then. If you have enjoyed this first episode of Season 4 that we are in now, and of the first episode of our new team as well, then I would massively appreciate a like rating. There was no video yesterday, mainly because I have had a cold for like the last week. And I felt really ill yesterday, so I thought I'm not even going to push myself to make it. I feel a lot better about it today, so in terms of like being able to actually talk and not have a sore throat and you know, cough after every sentence. So I actually feel alright today, so maybe taking that day has seriously helped me. But still, massive thank you for watching. If you're new around here, like what you see, hit that subscribe button down below. And I will see you all for episode 2 of Season 4 very, very soon. I'm excited about this team. We've built a quality side, and I want to see how far we can go with them. So, yeah, hopefully you guys are as well. And actually, just before we do go, I do want to say, of course, the signings we made today, realistically, you know, yeah, probably not. We wouldn't be spending that much money. But you got to remember how many players I got rid of. I literally took it back to the bare side that we could have done, because I just felt there was so much dead weight at this club that needed to go for us to have success. We brought in a lot of youngsters. The group, Beister, Patrick, even Jovic, still at 23. He's still a quality player. Jovic actually has a release clause in his contract as well of about 166 million. So there is potential maybe if somebody wants to activate that for him to leave. But for now, he's our player. You know, we've still got a lot of young players to develop. And we've got the youth players coming through as well. So still waiting on our first youth scout back. So we'll get that back in the next episode, hopefully. Until next time, though, adios.